Yes, it's time to sell the Silver Dream machine. What am I doing? Well, I've had it for 2 years. I've totally loved it. And actually, I'm not getting any younger. Neither is this car. And before I put too many miles on it, I thought it would be a better idea to give it to somebody else. So my aim is really to go and find another Porsche and try another 911 or a Cayman or something. Maybe something a bit newer. That's really my aim, to try something newer. But in any respect, tell some new stories with a new car and move on, really. So the time is right to sell this lovely machine. Nick Murray, my good friend Nick Murray, on his channel. For those of you who don't know Nick, he's a Porsche expert, 200,000 plus subscribers, has just done a video on this car with me and him.
You're a good-looking man, Jay. Don't think we ever.
The moment you lock the doors, I
don't think we ever noticed.
So have a look at that to really get the gist of what a 996 is, what his views are of the Tiptronic version, and you'll get a really good idea. This video is to really take you through this particular car and to show you all the niggles, anything that's wrong with it, a good detailed look at this car that I have loved for 2 years. So let's go. So as I say, I've owned it for 2 years, more or less exactly. It had 2 owners prior to me. The first owner, I believe, was in California. The second owner, I believe, was in Alabama. It's got a clean CARFAX and a clean title, but it's come from 2 states where it's seen precious little rain. I haven't driven it a lot during the rain, but it has been my daily driver. I bought it really at the beginning of lockdown, so it's not been used for what I intended it for, which was commuting into New York, hence why I bought the Tiptronic. But it has been used regularly. I have put about 16,000 miles on it. It's done 41,000. It had 25,000 on it when I bought it. I bought it from a Porsche main dealer, Porsche of Mobile, Alabama, who took it in as part exchange against a new one. And that's how I came to the car. But let me show you around the exterior of this car in some detail. Alright, let's start at the front of the car. The car presents enormously well. It is in very, very good condition, I would say. Not a lot of dings, in fact no dings per se, but there are some little patches in the paintwork where a stone has caught it. As you can see just here, there's a little one there, a little one there. Up, if I go to the headlight and up a little bit, there's one just there, as you can see. I think that is about it. There may be some tiny little ones, but let's not forget this car is 19 years old. I have polished the headlights once. They're going a little bit grey again, a little bit yellowy again. Maybe could do with another polish, but they're perfectly fine. These are the Tiptronic headlights, so they're not the standard ones. These are you know, optional extras on the car. But otherwise, as I go around the side of the car, look at the front right wheel, passenger wheel, there's some discolouring here on this particular wheel. It doesn't offend me, so I never did anything about it. But if I show you the inside of the wheel arch, you will see that is in good shape as well. A little bit of dirt there, but nothing too bad. A little chip here on the, in fact that's dirt, I think. That's a chip. That's dirt. That is dirt. But again, presents extremely well. I'm looking for faults here, and I'm not finding any. Let's have a look under here. This is all pretty neat and tidy. Underneath the sills here, and if I open the door, you'll see it's in very good shape. We'll do the interior later, but you can see down in the jambs here, very clean and tidy, as you would expect of a good quality car. Rear right wheel, passenger side, great shape. Nothing very much to report there, to be honest. If I look down the side of the car, perhaps that's caught a little bit. There's a few, they're tiny. If I put my finger in there, you'll see the size of those. Again, nothing that couldn't be touched up quite easily, actually. If I come round to the back, nothing to report back here. I have polished these a little bit, just manually. They've come up quite well. These have been painted, not by me, I hasten to add, but they look much better than black, I think. You could always go back to black if you wanted to. Nothing at all to report round the rear driver's side. If I look at the rear wheel, again, nothing to report. Potentially a bit of discolouring there, but again, that's sort of minor, I think. Inside of the wheel arch is looking fine, and the sill on the driver's side in very good shape. If I look inside the jam, again you'll see it's very good shape, no scratches, nothing. And if we look at the roof, it comes with a sunroof, which works, no problems there. All in good shape up here, no scratches. If I get really close in on the paint, if I put my hand there so the camera can focus, you can see it's really shiny. There's no swirl marks that I can see in this light. Again, this is the rear quarter of the car. I've got my hand there so that the camera can focus, and the paintwork is in really good shape, I would say. Front driver's side wheel, good condition. Nothing really very much to report there. So as we come round to the front wheel arch again, nothing in there to report. These tyres, by the way, are 2 years old. The dealer put them on them for me when I bought the car. They are Michelin Pilot Sports PS2s, there we are, and they put all 4 of them on for me. Really good tyre actually, and only, I would say, a year's worth of use, because the car also comes with a set of winter tyres. So half the time it's been on winters and half the time it's been on these lovely PS2 Michelin tyres. So that's the exterior of the car. The windshield, by the way, nothing to report about that, I don't think. I think it's got one chip just here. But again, I can just get my nail into that. I don't even know if you can see it on the camera. Nothing to worry about. It's been there, I think, since I've had the car. It's never spread. So there we are. Good shape on the exterior, I hope you agree. Let's have a look inside and see what the condition is like in there. Alright, let's start our tour of the inside on the driver's side. And I'll go straight to the seats. The seats are the supple leather, which is an optional extra, which means you get this sort of ruching here. Not just, it's a bit more comfortable. The leather is soft, and it's still soft, and for its age, 19 years old, I would say, again, excellent condition. I have fed this leather in my ownership. It has been cleaned and conditioned, and remains in very good shape, actually, I would say, on both sides. Very, very good shape, nice and clean, perfect. It has the Porsche mats in it, you can make out here. One of the optional extras was memory seats. Has memory for 2 people. That's where you do it. That's where you program that in there. If I get into the car, present and correct are these plastic shields for the sun visors on both sides. I'm going to open that one up. It's got all my insurance certificate and my garage door on this side, but it is there. Also on both sides of the doors you've got these door pockets and an airbag. It's never been in an accident. Clear CARFAX, as I said. Look, just under 41,000 miles there, as you can see. And as I come round the door, the key, there's a couple of scratches round by here. These plastic things are relatively easy to replace and very cheap. This has never offended me. But you could replace that if you wanted to. Same on top of what they call this, the horseshoe. There's a couple of dings on there, possibly. Original stereo. I've never changed that. You can, if you want, move the air conditioning to down here, and then there is enough space there to put a double din, a double size with a big screen, you know, with satellite navigation and everything in it. Never got round to doing that. Porsche will sell you one themselves. The cup holders work fine. How rare is that, to see working cup holders in a 996? You won't get those in a 996.1, by the way. The first generation did not have this cup holder on there. If we move down, this I put in myself, this space. I've got the original CD holder. Comes with some slots for CDs, but I thought this was much more useful. Same down here, I removed the ashtray. I'll show you what these are in a moment. Because I don't smoke, I don't want anybody to smoke in the car. The car has never been smoked in that I can tell, and I thought this was just a lot more useful. These things, by the way, there's two of them. They're exactly the same. They control the valved exhaust. So the car, as you will recall from my videos, and I will put a link up here somewhere to the video series I did on this car, ended up buying a Cargraphic valved exhaust, and it cost me about $2,500. The original exhaust was absolutely fine, and I've still got those mufflers, and they'll come with the car. They're in my garage, so if you want to transplant it back to stock, you absolutely can. But I felt that the only real modification I wanted to do to this car was to give it a better sound. But what I didn't want to do was to really spoil it by putting on something far too loud, or something that I couldn't really enjoy. So with a valved exhaust I get the best of both worlds, because once I push the button it goes back to pretty much stock. It's maybe a bit louder, and then when I push the other button, the quiet mode off button, it goes to much louder. Now then, the passenger seat just the same really as the driver's seat. Really good shape actually. For 19 years, I mean, parts of it you wouldn't distinguish it from a new one really. Again, it's been conditioned and cleaned in my time with it. I've fed the leather to keep it nice. If we go into the back, now you can actually, contrary to what people say, you can get people in the back here, just not very comfortably. My son, when he was 12 or 13, would fit in here okay for a journey. But I think once they grow a bit more than 5'6", that kind of thing, they do struggle a bit. You can pull these seats forward, and there you are. There's quite a bit of storage in a 911. The other one goes down as well, and you can see the condition of it there. It's in really good shape. Looking at the door jambs, we looked at them when we looked at the outside of the car. There are a few scratches here on the plastic inners. These are relatively easy to replace and cheap, of course. They're almost disposable. I've never bothered because they never offend me. But there we are. That's our tour of the interior of my car. Now I've cracked open the I suppose this is the hood, right? Even though it's at the back of the car, the engine's back here. This spoiler here raises when you get to a certain speed and goes back down when you get to a slower speed. I've never had any problems with it. It goes up and down, works perfectly, as of today anyway. If I look in here, you will know that, viewers to my channel, that what I have done is put a flat 6 Motorsports cold air intake, which is what that and that is. Just gives it a nicer induction sound. It's not offensive, and I'll show you the noise. But here you are. Here's the inside of the engine bay. We've never had, this car has never broken down on me. We had one episode where a vacuum line lost its vacuum, and that caused a check engine light, but that was fixed by Speed Sport Tuning. No problem at all. And in fact, Speed Sport Tuning are the ones that have looked after this car. Speed Sport Tuning are in Danbury, Connecticut. If you want to talk to them, the service manager's name is Mark Carson, who's a very friendly man who knows this car well. We've done a couple of videos with him, but they've looked after it. It's had, I think, 2 or 3 oil changes in my time with the car, and we'll get another one for the next owner. So it comes with an oil change, so you won't have to worry about that if you're the lucky owner of this shiny Porsche sports car. Up front in the trunk, and you can spot the part of the car that wasn't actually vacuumed by the people that cleaned my car, so we'll be having words with them. But there we are. There is a space saver in here. I believe the toolkit is behind that. Everything is present and correct. The lead you see here is to put it on a battery tender over the winter. I put that on. The battery lives below there. If I show you, I don't think there's a lot to see here, frankly, but I'm very happy to show you all the lines and everything in here, so you can see that there's been no crash damage. As far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, it's never been in a crash, and certainly the CARFAX shows that. And the Tiptronic gearbox, of course. Well, I've never had a problem with this. It is a perfectly decent torque converter gearbox. It isn't as quick as some of the PDKs or DSGs or twin clutch gearboxes that you know, VW and Porsche and everybody supplies, but it's perfectly fine, to be honest with you. And the one other thing I fitted was this. This is bolted into the car, and what you do is you put a metal plate at the back of your mobile phone, and then you can just literally put your mobile phone onto that, like so. So it's nice and straightforward, and I also have a Bluetooth radio connector, so I can actually use this screen for satellite navigation, GPS, and it plays through the stereo here. And the car has lovely heated seats as well, which work fine. 2 modes, hot and not so hot, and they work up fine on both sides of the car, as you can see. Well, let's start the car up and listen to the lovely blat of that flat 6 and my lovely Cargraphic exhaust. Here we go. Well, that was in loud mode, as you can probably tell. When you're driving along in quiet mode, or you start it in quiet mode, there is a bit of a difference. The difference is noticeable when you're driving it around, I should say. It's not the loudest of loud exhausts, even with loud mode on, to be perfectly honest. There's very little drone, but you can spot that from my exhaust videos, and there's more detail on that in that link that I put in earlier on. I should also add that there's nothing wrong with this car that I know of. It drives perfectly well. I had the alignment done as well, so the wheels and tyres are all balanced and aligned correctly. Plenty of life left in those tyres. So all in all, this is a very good car for somebody. I've had a tremendous amount of fun with it, telling stories on YouTube, as you guys have watched hopefully over the years. Time for something else, though. I'll be sorry to see it go, and a little bit emotional, I should say. But, you know, one has to move on. Progress is progress, and I think telling some new stories will be useful. I'm very grateful to Nick Murray for doing a review on it. I mentioned to him that I was thinking of selling it, and he was the one actually that said, let's do a video on it, let's give it some exposure on my channel. And Nick, thank you very much. I'm really grateful to have you as a friend, so thank you. Otherwise, everybody, that's it. If you want to buy the video, here is my email address. You can follow me on Instagram. We do have some wacky adventures on there as well that maybe you don't see on the channel, such as predicting the weather from Punxsutawney and other gems that I'll probably put up on the screen right now, in addition to non-Porsche coverage as well. So if you want to follow me, all the different car shows I go to, a bit of banter with James from Auto Amateur as well. He's a gem of a person. Follow his channel if you haven't followed that before. So follow me on Instagram. I'll put up my my handle right now. Otherwise, buy my car, folks. This is the one for you. You won't find, I doubt, a 911 from the 996 era in much better condition than this one. 41,000 miles. I'm asking, I think, 37,500 for it. You tell me. If you want to pay a little less, make me an offer. But as I hope you can see, I've been diligent in looking after this car. It is in good shape. And buy my car. Thanks for watching. See you soon.